Hello, people. My name is James Dunn, and I need to talk to you about something extremely serious. I've done a lot to try to help West Oak Cliff, and Dallas, and I need your help today. Now, when people who collect $140,000 of your money every day take an 87-year-old cancer-riddled woman into their home and treat her with only Tylenol for her pain, you should know about it. When this old cancer-riddled mother is one of the person's mother and the other person's mother-in-law, you should know the crime is particularly heinous, treating cancer with Tylenol. That is what happened to my mother, Pauline Dunn. Let me explain. I promise to be brief. In April 2008, my mother, Pauline Dunn, was stricken with cancer in virtually every organ of her torso. Up until that time, she was working as a receptionist for the A.W. Brown Fellowship Charter School. She was right out front. My mother had cancer of the liver, pancreas, lungs, you name it, it was infected. When she came down with this terrible cancer, I took off work as a public school teacher at A.W. Brown to care for her in her home. My sister Paula Dunn Brown is the principal of A.W. Brown Fellowship Charter School. On Monday, June 2nd, after school administrators had gotten out for the summer, my sister took my mother into her home, ostensibly to care for her. What happened is that on one of the few occasions that I was allowed to visit, I found my mother's prescriptions had been allowed to run out. Though my sister lived in a $500,000 home at 3500 Country Ridge Drive in DeSoto, Texas. Look that up on Zillow, ZILLOW.com. If you go to 3500 Country Ridge Drive, you'll see where my sister lived at that time. And while my mother was there, my sister purchased an $84,000 Mercedes CLS 550 while my mother lingered in her home. When I visited my mother on June 28, 2008, I found that she was being treated with only over-the-counter Tylenol for terminal cancer pain. When I asked my mother about her medication, she told me that she had decided to let the medicine go because, and I quote, "When I got out here and I wrote that check, I couldn't afford my medicine." What makes this even more heinous is the fact that my mother was taken into my sister's home on June 2nd. My mother's will was changed and filed with Dallas County on June 10th. Now, on June 28th, she has no medicine. But on June 10th, they had filed her will. Now, you can't get the prescription filled, but you can go change a will. What makes it worse? I had paid for my mother's home in the late 1980s and early 1990s. I had to pay off her house because she had lost there's a mechanics lien against it, and when they told me that the mechanics lien was for what the principal of the house was back in 1972, which was $26,500, I just paid off the mechanics lien. I worked 5 jobs to do it. I taught school at Skyline. I coached soccer at Skyline. I taught night school, day school, summer school, and managed a Mexican restaurant from 11 at night till 7 in the morning. I get off at 7 in the morning and drive straight to Skyline and teach all day. Some days I never did go home to go to bed. And I want you to hear the conversation between my mother and me. So please write this down. This is where you can hear my mother saying that she's being given only Tylenol for her cancer. Write this down. It's the initial A, the initial W, Brown, period, then the word Pauline, Pauline, period, then the word torture, Torture. Go to YouTube and listen to that audio recording, and you'll find proof of what I'm saying. If you go to AWB CHT on YouTube, that's the 3 initials, AWB altogether, CHT altogether, you'll find proof that the $140,000 of your tax money poured into the A.W. Brown Fellowship Charter School every day goes to a school that just cheats students on their state test. It's your tax money. This only goes to charlatans who would rather cheat on state tests than to actually educate the students. Like with my mother, don't give her a medicine, let her die in pain. Let these students go without an education. MO's the same, greed. So you have my mother's estate looted, her safety deposit box looted of $140,000, your tax money looted. What could they do for an encore? This is what they did for an encore. On Friday, June 20th, 2013, they ordered me out of the house that I'd lived in since 2002 when I moved from North Dallas to care for my father. My father died in August of 2005 of Alzheimer's disease. After he died, I stayed with my mother, even buying her a 2003 Cadillac CTS the first week of 2007. I'm not a big fan of Cadillacs, but at the age of 86, I was determined to get her anything that she wanted. And I did. She went to more North Park trips than you would ever believe. I never expected to have such a cruelty happen to my mother as to have her given only Tylenol for cancer. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. The other drug that she had been prescribed by Dr. David Lee Walters was lactulose. That's Lactolose. This drug allowed her to keep food down, and also because she had liver cancer, the drug kept ammonia from building up in her liver. We all have ammonia that passes through our livers. A healthy body throws off the ammonia naturally. When a person has liver cancer, without medication, the ammonia builds up in the liver, causing confusion, coma, and ultimately death. In other words, you're confused enough to sign this will, here, sign it. When my sister and her husband refused to acquire the necessary drugs for the 87-year-old woman who had put her house up as collateral for Reverend Brown to acquire the Fellowship Baptist Church of Oak Cliff, and put her home up as collateral again to help them start the A.W. Brown Fellowship Charter School, they had one thing in mind: getting the old woman gone and getting her estate. It all boils down to money. For the sake of your $140,000 per day, you need to make things right for taxpayers like yourselves. And I need you to help me. Using a falsely written will, my sisters had Judge Thomas Jones to order me out of the house that I paid for this coming December 27th. The judge has given me until 4 p.m. Thursday, December 26, 2013, to post a cash bond of $500 to get out. People, I started off this year, January 2013, in the hospital. When released, I ended up back in the hospital for a month and a Manicare nursing home for 2 months so that I could learn to walk again. I've been stricken with Guillain-Barré syndrome. I make no money now. I have no money, and I still have 6 dogs and me that I'm trying to feed and support. I'm sometimes in a wheelchair, sometimes on a walker, and sometimes I walk just like anyone else. This Christmas season would be one heck of a time for the greedy, heartless people in my family to put me in the street or do to me what they did to my mother. In the past, the people in the Kimball area have known me for taking housing issues for the neighborhood to the city council, leading the Tom Landry Stadium efforts, taking a proposal to Washington, D.C. to try to get President Clinton to make parents attend at least one parent conference per year for each child that they claim as a tax deduction, and standing up to the Dallas City Council in 2004 when they tried to shorten police sick leave to 6 months instead of a year. It took me $3,500 of my own money, but due to the website and flyers that I put together, we won that one for the police whose job it is to protect us. I appreciate them because they not only protect us from others, there was a time when they protected me from me. People, I never expected to be put into a position of begging, but I am. If you have any advice for me, call me. If you can help me with the legal fees, call me, or make a deposit in the account of James Williams. The middle name is Williams with an S, Williams, Dunn, Dunn, 3635 Blue, that's Blue, Ridge, Ridge Boulevard, Dallas, Texas 75233. And you can make that deposit at any Bank of America. You can mail it to my house, and you can come by and see me. I'd be glad to see you on Christmas Day. Though the doorbell doesn't work, you're going to have to make some noise. Call me at any time at 214-900-5833 or 214-830-1307. Call me at any time at 214-900-5833 or 214-830-1307. Or stop by the house at 3635 Blue Ridge, which is just a block from Kimball High School. I need you. If you come by the house, I can't let you in because I share the house with, like I said, 6 Labrador Retrievers. 2 of them are sickly and incontinent and smelly. I've tried to be a pretty good citizen, people. I've never been put into the position where I have to ask for help for myself. But I'm in that position now. I'm in that position now for the very same people who would not let me in the house after June 28th. My mother died on August 16th. But they wouldn't let me in after June 28th when I found out they weren't medicating her. I went to the district attorney's office twice. The first time they told me to go to DeSoto Police. The DeSoto Police told me there was nothing I could do, so I went back to district attorney's office. District attorney told me to go back to DeSoto Police, so I went to DeSoto Police. I went to the city council meeting. I made the police chief of DeSoto extremely angry because I was trying to get something done. But nobody has done anything. Now I'm putting the word out so the whole world knows, and I hope you do too. I'm making a Facebook page called Justice for Pauline. I don't know anything to do with this Facebook page, but make it Justice for Pauline. But call me. I'm going to make a change.org petition. Help me with this, people. Help me make that change.org petition so that we can ask the state attorney general, since no one in the city or the county will do it, why my mother didn't get her medicine. And did that not cause her death? If she had been given that medicine, let me put it this way. I can hasten your death and you can hasten my death. If I hasten your death, let's say with a bullet, they call it murder. In case of mine, let's say with a razor blade, they call it murder. When you live in a $500,000 house and you withhold medicine from someone while your son, who's in his last year of medical school, is living in that house, so you should know better, you can only call that murder. Help me. My name is James Dunn, D-U-N-N. I'm at 214-900-5833. I'm at 3635 Blue Ridge, that's B-L-U-E-R-I-D-G-E, Boulevard, Dallas, Texas, 75233. I really need your help. This is one time I really need your help. Thank you. Bye-bye.